Hi there, it's Dana with wholehealthdana.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to make mushroom egg soup. It's really easy, it's fast, and I really think it tastes great. So first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to dice up an onion. I've used white, I've used yellow, I've used red onion, so use whatever kind of onion you have. Today I've got yellow onion, so that's what we're using. So I just cut my onion up into pieces, and then I use my food chopper to put it into little dices. It's the fastest way I know how. Then, optionally, if you like celery, and I do, you can add one or more stalks of celery, and I'm going to chop them up with my food chopper as well. Okay, now you're going to need an 8-ounce package of organic mushrooms. Today I have brown ones, and I've already rinsed and washed these, so I just cut off the ends of the stems. And then these are really awesome because you need to slice these up. But what I do is, if you get these fresh at the store before they start to get kind of soft in the package, you can just cut these with your egg slicer. So I just put them in, and there you go. I've got my sliced mushrooms. Okay, so once we have prepared the produce, we need to move over to the stove. And I have preheated some coconut oil in the bottom of my stock pot already. I used probably about 2 tablespoons. And what we're going to do first is to throw in our celery and our onions, and we're going to saute them for several minutes until they start to soften. Going to mix those around a little bit, stir them up. Alright, so it's been about 2 or 3 minutes, and now that they are starting to soften, we're going to add in our mushrooms. There you go, you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I let 4 or 5 minutes pass, and so what we're going to do is add 8 cups of chicken broth. Now, I make my own. And what I do is, I left one of these unthawed just so that you could see it. But when I make chicken for a soup, I make sure that I make extra broth out of it, and then I freeze them into 4-cup packages that I can pull out when I need chicken broth. You can buy broth at the store. You can buy a mix to make a broth. I just prefer to make my own, so I know what ingredients are in it, and I know that it's exactly the way I like it. At this point, we will also add in some of the seasonings. So you're going to need 1 teaspoon of coconut aminos. This is what I use. Recipe calls for 1 teaspoon, however, I always put in 2. And if you're looking for this and you can't find it in your store, go check out my website. I have a link of where I purchase it from, and it's cheaper than buying at the store. I usually get probably about $2.50 cheaper buying it online. Then you're going to need 2 teaspoons of sea salt, and you're going to need half of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. So now we're just going to let this sit and come to a boil. Okay, so now once it starts to come to a boil, what you're going to want to do is take your eggs that you previously whipped. So just gently pour it in, and then slowly move it about. If you were going to add green onions, now would be the time that you could add in your green onions as well. You could add them in earlier if you want. This soup is very forgiving. It's very hard to mess it up. You can add in less onion, less celery, more celery, no celery. So at this point, our soup is done. You can see the eggs have solidified, so you don't have any raw eggs in there. And we're ready to eat it now. Here, you want to see? It's as good as I remembered. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Whole Health Dana and how to make a mushroom egg soup. If you would like a printed copy of this recipe, go visit my website at www.wholehealthdana.com, where you can find this recipe and all of my others. If you'd like to follow me on social media, check out the links that are below. And I thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.